Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video serves as an update to the fastest Criminal Enterprises DLC videos where I show the best fully upgraded Criminal Enterprises DLC cars in terms of lap time and top speed. For all the information needed about this series, check those original videos, but otherwise, let's see where the new Rhinehart falls into that list. Well, in terms of lap time, it's 10th place for the DLC overall, actually just fractionally behind the SM722 sports car that we saw earlier in the DLC, and that should tell you about its pace. It's good enough for second place in sedans, and it's basically right on the top pace for the sedans class when it comes to sedans races. It's very smooth, very nice to drive. It's not that great on the brakes, which is actually quite refreshing and makes it a bit more of an interesting car to drive. The all-wheel drive that it has really helps it in terms of acceleration, and I'll talk a little bit more about how it compares to the Cinque Mille at the top of the sedans class in a few minutes, but basically they're inseparable at the very top of the class, so you could use either of them for any random sedans race. In terms of top speed, it's sort of around the same area for the DLC, also in second place, this time just behind the Shafter V12 armoured version. Technically it's third place for races because you can also use the sports car Shafter V12 as well, so it's about a 1 mile per hour behind that, and it's 2 mile per hour quicker than the Cinque Mille. But honestly, since the sedans class in general have pretty lackluster top speeds, even some newer sedans like the Tailgate S, it's nice that the Rhinehart is right up there and competitive for top speed, but it's also up there and competitive for lap time as well. In terms of the comparison between the number one, obviously you can see the lap times there, there's less than a tenth of a second between them. The Cinque Mille is very stiff, you can kind of feel every bump on the road. It's more responsive but also more unpredictable. The Rhinehart is almost the polar opposite. It's much smoother to drive and more predictable, but because of that it can feel a little bit less responsive. The Cinque Mille has the slightly better traction, but the Rhinehart has the slightly better top speed. The Cinque Mille has slightly better brakes, but the Rhinehart has slightly better acceleration. Basically they're equal to each other, and different races with different tracks will suit one or the other, but you can use either of them at the top of a sedans race and you'll be able to compete. I'd say that a full race with everyone in Rhinehart would probably produce better racing and a more interesting experience for everyone racing than everyone in Cinque Mille's, but ultimately it's a personal preference thing with these two. I really like the Rhinehart, I've got to say. It handles very nicely. Just sort of a really great example of what this car is, it's a wagon and it kind of feels like that as well, but it's got that interesting driving experience to go along with it. And it's even better that it's competitive at the top of sedans, frankly. There's so many cars that we get that are so nice to drive, but they just can't compete. It's nice to have a car that is nice to drive, and it is also at the top of the class. So, this is going to be the one that I use for sedan races because I find it a lot more fun to drive than the Cinque Mille, but ultimately you can use either of them and the sedans class is better for it. Just a quick note, in case anyone's confused, I did retest the Cinque Mille because I knew from the first time that I did it, I don't think I was 100% happy with the lap that I got, and I needed to retest it anyway because of, the fact that we're on a new generation of platform, so I thought I might as well do it now since I'm looking at the very top of the class with the Rhinehart, so in case you see the lap time different to what you're used to, that's why, but yeah, ultimately the sedans class is pretty well balanced at the top two at least. So that's pretty much it for this one. Consider supporting on Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want testing results early, and remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed or found it helpful, and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.